Hi, I'm Kelly Plachinsky with KP Real Estate Group. For all my sellers out there, a lot of them ask me what contingencies mean or how it actually applies to them because it does apply differently to both the buyer and seller. Contingency clauses are a safeguard for buyers and sellers, giving them the right to cancel a contract if the terms are not met. So the main contingencies are your home inspection, appraisal, and financing. And all three have different time frames that the buyer will state in the contract and that they have to follow by law. So most of the time the home inspection contingency will be from a 4-day to a 10-day time frame. And at that point the buyer will do a home inspection, and based on how it's negotiated in the contract, if they come across something that makes them a little uneasy and that the seller's not willing to fix, like let's say there was a lot of mold in the property and they didn't want to fix it, then the buyer has a right to get out of the contract. Or in some cases, the seller can also agree to fix it because they would have to disclose it to the next buyer. The other contingency is your appraisal contingency. The appraisal contingency is very common as well. In every market, it does change a bit. The appraisal contingency is in there to protect buyer and the seller in case the home doesn't appraise for the contract terms. So for example, if the contract terms are listed for a purchase price of $550,000 and the home appraises for $500,000, then both the seller and buyer can negotiate these terms because the lender actually will not finance the loan if it doesn't come in for the actual value. So if it does appraise for $50,000 less, the seller can either reduce their price by $50,000 or the buyer can come to the table with the extra $50,000. Each market is a little bit different. Most buyers are not willing to actually come to the table with the actual $50,000 because they're paying more than what the house is worth. In other markets, some buyers are willing to do that. Based on how competitive the market is, they could even waive this appraisal contingency. The other one is the financing contingency, and that time frame is usually about 15 to 21 days, and this gives the buyers the opportunity to get financing. And if their financing does not go through, at that time, they could send over a release to the seller stating that their financing fell through and get out of the contract. So these are the examples of contingencies. There's other ones that could come up like radon, mold, lead-based paint, but these are the main three contingencies that are in the contract in place to help both protect the seller and the buyer. Thanks again for everything, and I'm Kelly Plachinsky with KP Real Estate Group, and customer service is how we roll.